What's up, guys? I'm here right now to answer some questions you've all asked me before we get any further. Now, question number one, where have you been? Well, I've been working on my new reptile room, but the only glimpse you'll see of that is from the teaser in the intro. And question number two, am I dead? No. Well, that's all of them. Let's dive in.
Snakes come in a variety of shapes and sizes, and so do their diet. Some people always lash out, "Why don't you feed your snakes mice?" Or, "Feed it mice, you dumb fuck," as you haters would say. Yes, that's what I think you all look like. Believe it or not, there's more to snakes than just copper rattle moccasins, and their dietary range is way more complex than you'd ever imagine. But more on that later. Today I'll be showing you some diets my snakes are on, starting with the dog-toothed cat snake. Yep, weird name. These snakes aren't in any way related to dogs or cats. They're from the Boiga genus, aka the cat snakes, dubbed due to the large cat-like eyes. All cat snakes are rear-fanged venomous. Though the venom can be bad, it is not considered too dangerous or fatal, though some bites you may need medical attention. Dog-toothed cat snakes are named after their longer and larger teeth from those in the genus. With that in mind, they're still considered the most docile. Almost all I have worked with over the years have been reluctant to bite. And not really. The lump you see here is not a disease or tumor. This skinny species of snake, aka long boy, have a knack for climbing high up in the trees, raiding bird nests for their eggs. Yep, what you see in her belly is a chicken egg, which is actually a big part of her diet. I feed mine eggs almost every week, and chicks on every other. They swallow the eggs whole and crush it over time, sucking out all the yolk, then defecating out the shells, along with whatever else they digested with their excrement. This juvenile green cat snake is too small to prey on birds or eggs at this age. That's why as babies, they have adapted to hunt lizard prey in the trees, switching to a more avian diet as they grow. Same with their color. They're bright orange now, but they will gradually turn green with every shed. Asian vine snakes, like this yellow one, will prey on lizards, geckos, and frogs. Heck, there's even records of them going after fish. With their keen eyesight, they wait for the perfect strike, winding up slowly like a deadly spring, waiting for the perfect moment, mimicking a dry twig or leaf against the wind. They launch! Many often just swallow their prey right after the initial strike. No wait for the venom, just, eat it alive. Some will actually wait for the venom to kick in first. The snakes in the Rhabdophis family, aka the keelbacks, love eating frogs and fish. My black-necked keelback has a favorite of frogs and toads, whereas my red-necked keelback is a sucker for fish. These two species are probably the closest relatives of each other. Both are venomous and poisonous. Both are rear-fanged colubrids that hunt by sight and chase. When threatened, these snakes can puff up their necks or flatten them and display bright, flashy colors to ward off their predators. They're equipped with potent procoagulants and some neurotoxic factors which they can deliver by holding on and while biting or chewing. They have evolved neutral glands on the back of their neck. The gland stores the toxins that they steal from eating native toads, mixing it with their own compound. Holy freaking shit! Mother of God! Making these snakes one deadly cocktail. So then, now we look at Daisy peltis. These snakes are really big into football and follow sports. No, I'm only kidding. They're pretty insane though. These African egg-eating snakes have specially evolved spikes on their vertebrae that are faced inward, contracting their muscles as they use those spines as a saw. So they're sawing and sucking out the contents of that egg before regurgitating it. They also have no teeth. They cannot bite you, only mock strike. And rough scales are along their body that they'll rub against each other while sidewinding to mimic the soft-scaled vipers of Africa. So this is what you do to survive in the wild without the ability to bite. Jeez, it's like uttering stats in a D&D game the longer I go in. Now let's get a break from some crazy stuff. Let's move to a more traditional diet. Mice. Feeding my 2 young West African green mambas. These snakes may not be as potent nor as greatly feared as the magnificent and super intimidating black mamba, but let's be honest, they don't want anything to do with us. They want to boogie with their own people, harboring enough postsynaptic neurotoxins to take any of us down easily with less than a drop. The fast-acting venom is for pretty much taking down prey so they don't have to get injured or put up quite a chase. On to some vipers. My Chinese sharp-nosed viper can be a bit tricky to feed with tweezers. He's quite the sneaky bitch, but I'll happily do so over dropping a live feeder in. These extremely hemotoxic species has one nasty bite. Their venom consists of 4 different hemorrhagens at least. A good example of a species that absolutely needs their venom to aid in digestion. This snake is notoriously feared and respected in their native range. People in China and Vietnam have different nicknames for such a snake. They call it the 100 pacer or the 5-step snake, as people believe that after a person is bit, they only have a certain amount of steps they can take before they collapse and die. Damn, that's cool. Bites most commonly occur with farmers and ranchers. Sadly for them, they accidentally step over the snake while wearing sandals. The snake is using those massive fangs and top jaws to walk down the prey, contracting his muscles on the neck and body the further the prey goes in. This gorgeous male West African bush viper is also walking down his fuzzy mouse. And I know what you're all saying. Show us the babies eating mouse tails. Well, it's a fuzzy mouse tail. Not as big as you'd expect, I suppose, but this will do them well as they grow into bigger snakes. They work it down easily, just like a regular meal. Only took 1 hour to get all this footage. No big whoop. Thanks, snake. At this stage in the wild, these fragile, tiny, sour candy looking sons of bitches snakes will be hiding and ambushing unsuspecting lizards or froglets. Snakes of the Bitis genus the gaboon vipers, the rhino vipers, and the infamous and feared puff adder are seen as toxic slugs? Well, cause they kinda are, but know that in any given second, that toxic slug could easily launch its 5-foot body off the ground while striking. Now sadly, I kind of only got half-assed strikes from these snakes, so better luck next time. But one thing about the Bitis genus is that when they strike their prey, they will not let go. Well, most of the time. This is because if they strike a mouse or a rabbit and hold it above ground, they can struggle all they want, but they cannot reach the floor, they cannot run away. The snake holds it high, keeps its advantage, and as the mouse quickly dies from the venom, the snake gobbles it up. These snakes may seem super relaxed, very easy, super mild-tempered, and that's what a lot of people in the herp community will want to tell you, especially people who want to sell these animals as quickly as they can, either they be imports or babies. They're not a good starter venomous snake. They're actually for advanced keepers. They can be extremely fast, lightning fast, if they want to. Now the gaboon vipers have the world record of longest fangs than any other venomous snake out there. And the rhino viper is just straight up gorgeous. The puff adder is extremely feared. These are the most known snakes in the Bitis genus. However, there are over 10. I can't remember if there was 20. Like I've said before, snakes have some crazy diets, and we've barely scratched the surface. Some genuses have specialized in eating slugs, earthworms, crickets, and even giant freaking centipedes. The black-banded centipede-eating snake is a fearsome predator for the leggy arthropods. It is uncertain how their immune system works against the centipede's toxic venom, but it doesn't affect them at all. This snake and many other myriapod hunters will have extremely specific diets, making them tough for captivity. If people understand their needs and can provide, go ahead. I see many importers sell these guys and blatantly just say they'll take crickets as well as even pinky mice. No sir. No, they do not. And if you force them on that diet, they are going to die. Now we have a look at a very elusive species that only preys on, you've guessed it, huntsman spiders. Though I haven't actually caught any of the eating part on video yet, I present some pretty cool chase scenes. Now we've covered a lot in this video about snakes and their diets, but I also have some invertebrates that I can show some feeding videos of in the future if that's what you guys want to see. So drop a comment about that and I'll be sure to get to it. We'll end this feeding session here, and maybe part 2 will be out sooner than later. Thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.